Hi everyone, I'm pre-recording today. This is Friday, 20th, 21st, I can't remember what date it is. It doesn't really matter at the moment, does it? Anyway, we're on a street in Liverpool called Hope. I'm going to turn around now and show you a few really cool things. So Hope Street is what's known as the Georgian quarter of Liverpool, and at either end of Hope Street there's a cathedral, but at the top end there's these wonderful suitcases, and just down the road a couple of really interesting buildings. A man trying to get the money out of the meter. I'll come off him in a minute. And then you've got two cathedrals. You've got the Catholic one at the end of the street. Look at those lovely blue suburban skies. So there's the Catholic cathedral. And then the other cathedral is absolutely massive, but it's kind of hiding behind the buildings. So I don't think we can even see it from here. But the Anglican cathedral is really huge. It's the largest in the world, and I might try and get an image of that. I'm going to come back to these in a second because there's so much to talk about here. But what I'd like to do is walk you down the street and show you what it would be like if you were John Lennon and you were coming out of the Art College and you just fancied a pint in Yecrack, because that's just around the corner. Now, isn't this beautiful? I think this used to be a club called Chauffeurs, where my dad and Anthony Hogan used to go. But now it's one of the nicest restaurants in Liverpool. It's called 60 Hope Street. There you go. They always have the most glorious floral decorations there. So down the street, and then as we turn the corner, here's Yecrack. I'm not going to go in, I'm still socially distancing. And the War Office in Yecrack is the place, not the place to do that. All you need is love. I've been saying that all the week, just to reiterate, love is all you need. So here's Yecrack. I'll walk down quickly, get a close-up of that. You might know the photograph of John with his friend Tony Carragher stood on the steps of Yecrack, just by the door. And this is where he used to hang out during his art college days, as well as the Philharmonic, which is just up the road. Here we go. Yecrack hasn't changed at all, and it kind of looks a bit scary when you first go in, but it's not scary at all. It's some of the warmest people you'll ever meet there. The shutters are up, so I'm going to go. There you go. So the Holdings Beacon Ales, that's the same as it would have been when John Lennon and his mates used to hang out. They've replicated it all. Anyway, back up the street. I'll do this quick because I want to take you back up to the suitcases. But the road opposite, okay, you can see it as we're walking. The road right at the top and opposite is where John used to live for a very short time. Brian Epstein had an apartment at the top of Falconer Street, and when John first married Cynthia, that's where they lived when they were first married. There's a restaurant over here that is another one of my favourites. I talked about the Casa Italia another time, but the green shop there. Hi. Okay, so the green one there is a restaurant called Quarter, and this area is where the chippy used to be when the boys from the local school or the local art college, they could go and get fish and chips here. But right at the top end of the street is 36, where John lived. The reason I'm pointing this out is because Ken and Jane dash out. We have a hilarious story from there, which it always reminds me of them. It always reminds me of them too whenever we go. Also with Grayson, we went there with Deb, didn't we? Oh, there's the cathedral. So see, kind of that big tall thing tucked away, kind of peeping out from the rooftop of John Lennon's art college. It's a lovely building across the road. God, the sun's come right out. That's called Blackburn House. And Blackburn House was a girls' school, whereas just around the corner, the Liverpool Institute was the boys' school. And guess who went to the Liverpool Institute? Paul McCartney and George Harrison. And guess who went to the art college? I've just told you already. John Lennon. So look, they're literally right next door to each other. So the year that Paul and John first met, Paul already knew George because they were at college together. Look at those blue skies. The River Mersey is right down at the bottom there as well. Quite a distance, but it's a nice view down. So Paul and George, they passed this test called the 11 Plus, and they went to one of Liverpool's best schools. Didn't have to pay, it was kind of a scholarship, I suppose, but they both attended here. And then the year John and Paul first met, July 1957, that autumn, John Lennon started an art college literally next door. Look, that's how much distance separates them. So the two of them, and the boys would meet up here. Like I said, on these little videos I'm not going into too much detail. You can read into it all, and I will put them all together on an audiobook. But yeah, this is where Paul and George went to school, and this is where John went to college. There is a plaque on the school building here. Let's have a little look. It doesn't tell you that that two of the most famous men in the world went to the school here. It tells you that it was where Charles Dickens gave his readings. Now you probably know the whole place is now, look at those skies, wow! You probably know that the whole place is now known as LIPA, the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. Closed at the moment, all schools in England are closed from today. What a lovely street it is. This area is so nice, the Georgian Quarter, so the Georgian era, where the Georgian kings that predated Queen Victoria. So now I'm going to take you up to the suitcases and tell you the story of them. I'm just going to let you dwell on the focus on those skies, it's gorgeous. So you know that LIPA is now, these two buildings are now LIPA. And I'll just show you a new etching on the art college. I'm just loving those skies. So yeah, LIPA, and LIPA is the famed school where Paul McCartney's the figurehead, stands for the Liverpool Institute for Performing Art. But it's also a lovely coincidence that it's the first two letters of Linda and Paul. And just down the road, we're just before the scaffolding on the right hand side of the cathedral. See if we can zoom in on it. It's the Philharmonic Hall, and that's where Paul goes to the graduation ceremony for LIPA every year. So he's usually here the end of July. This year may be a bit different, but we'll soon find out. Now these are suitcases called a case history, and every piece of luggage belonged to somebody who was special to Liverpool. So if you took the time to research them, you have the history of our city. They're a lovely idea. But the ones I'm more interested in are over here. Now there used to be a guitar, see where the hole is there? There used to be a nice big bass guitar there, and that one belonged to Stuart Sutcliffe. They've been a bit lazy actually, and I'll show you why in a moment. I'll just wait till these guys finish and you can have another look at those blue skies and Blackburn House. Oh, Alan Durband. He was Dusty Durband, and he was one of the guy's teachers. And then I wait for these guys to get out of the way. On a normal day there'd be probably quite a few people around, including the students. Just look at that view anyway, it is rather nice. Okay, so this is the pile we're most interested in, to be honest with you, as Beatles fans. So I'm going to zoom in on this one. Now it says Stuart Sutcliffe, but any Paul McCartney fans will know that that's a Hofner violin, bass guitar, not a Hofner President which Stu had. So this one says Paul McCartney. It's kind of a before and after for Paul. Now when these were originally unveiled, one of them said Hamburg, the one at the bottom said Hamburg, and the top one said Concord. So it was a kind of before and after for Paul. His first Hofner violin and his latest. Now right at the bottom there's a guitar case that belonged to George Harrison. Now that's That label there is quite a big bright one. There's a whole story behind that that I probably need to go into. The original sign was like a label with his address on, and it was stolen. And so on George's birthday, when he would have been 75 I think, on my George Harrison Day, I had a brass plaque made featuring George's actual autograph from a photograph that we had, from an actual autograph we have. And we put it on the morning of George's birthday. We had a big celebration for it, and when we got back later that evening it had been stolen. So the company who made them, big shout out to them, they made me some kind of fake ones as well as a new bronze one, and I put the fake one on, seeing how long it lasted, and to be honest it's been here about 2 years, so now I'm a bit scared to put the bronze one on. Plus I don't know if I'll get that one off again. Anyway, let me stand up. This one says Lipper MFW, and that's Mark Featherstone Whitty, who is the founding principal of Lipper. And then around here, this is one. So this parcel is one, I don't know whether you can see it, but it actually says John Lennon and Yoko Ono. So this was one of the cases that they sent the Acorns for Peace in. Comedy value ever since. I don't know if it was one of you lot, but somebody misunderstood my Liverpool accent once, and it's become comedy value forever. When I said the Beatles sent, or John and Yoko sent acorns to world leaders, they thought I'd said gay porn. So I know people aren't understanding everything I say on these, but once you come to Liverpool you do tend to get the you get acclimatised to the accent. Anyway, so this is Hope Street. I'm going to turn this around again now. I hope you enjoyed that. We're all well, the sun is shining, it's a nice day in Liverpool. Like I said, this is Friday, so it's not live. I'm well, everybody I know is well, and I hope you all are too. So stay well, stay safe and stay positive. We'll get through this, guys, we will. And I'll see you all in Liverpool one day.